You are watching News 9 live. I'm Krishna Kumar and I'm being joined by our political editor Brijesh Pandey and our executive editor Kartikeya Sharma. Thank you, gentlemen, for being with us, and we are discussing the latest that is coming from, again, the election-bound state of Karnataka. The Congress party released its manifesto for the upcoming Karnataka State Assembly elections, and the manifesto includes a commitment to take strong and decisive action against those that spread hatred against particular communities based on caste and religion. Now, to this end, it has promised to ban organizations like the Bajrang Dal and the Popular Front of India, PFI, which it claims violates the law and constitutions and propagates animosity between various communities. Now, the party says, and I quote over here, "Law and constitution is sacrosanct and cannot be violated by individuals and organizations like Bajrang Dal, PFI or others promoting enmity or hatred, whether among majority or minority communities. We will take decisive action according to law, including imposing a ban on any such organizations," unquote. Now, this is not a one-off case. Earlier as well, speaking at the London-based think tank Chatham House in the month of March this year, Rahul Gandhi had said that the Rashtriya Swayam Sevak Sangh, or the RSS, is a fundamentalist and fascist organization that has basically captured pretty much all of India's institutions. And in his book, Sunrise over Ayodhya, Nationhood in Our Times, former Congress party leader Salman Khurshid said that classical Hinduism, known to sages and saints, being pushed aside by a robust version of Hindutva, by all standards, a political version similar to the jihadist Islam of groups like ISIS and Boko Haram of recent years. And now the BJP has hit back at the Congress party. Let's listen to what the Home Minister Amit Shah had to say first.
अगर कांग्रेस पार्टी आई, ये सिद्धरामैया जी जीते, तो PFI पर से बैन हटा लेंगे, मेरी बात याद रखना.
Right, and now we have our guests as well joining in, Professor Chambi Puranik, a political analyst, and Mr. Bhaskar Hegde, editor of TV9 Kannada Digital, joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us, for being with us. Let me first begin with the gentleman in the studios. It's the same case when you make these parallels. The Congress party gets itself into a twist and gets itself into a mess. But the fact of the matter is that the PFI is a bone of contention in the upcoming Karnataka State Assembly elections, as voiced by the Home Minister of India, Amit Shah, in his campaign trail.
Well, I think the Congress party should also start writing a book called 101 Ways of How Not to Fight Election. This is definitely one of the 101 way. When you
have smiling, I will come to him on that comment.
When you have a good election going your way, when majority of the feel on the ground is that you are not as on back foot as you have been on various other elections and all, then
various other territories,
then these are the kind of statement one must studiously avoid and not get entangled to. There's no point putting or forcing all the diverse group or group owing their allegiance to various Hindu outfits into one side and provide a booster dose to the BJP's campaign. I think this was one such attempt. It has not succeeded for the Congress party. Comparing RSS to Boko Haram is, I think, a massive stretch of imagination by Mr. Salman Khurshid, and at that point of time it backfired on them. But post successive, all the such statements have backfired on them.
Kartikeya, and that's the problem, isn't it? This has always backfired. This narrative, this discussion. Why have this discussion when there are so many other things that you can do to win an election?
One is being politically incorrect. Secondly, second thing is to make a wrong comparison. First of all, comparison of a Muslim Brotherhood and RSS is erroneous. Muslim Brotherhood just doesn't become a terrorist organization just because the Egyptian government has banned it. Muslim Brotherhood has been inspired by a number of orthodox teachers of Islam, and foremost being Sir Sayyid Qutb, who justified in 60s killing in name of orthodoxy or Islam as in dogma, which is inspired from a number of Islamic orthodox writers of 11th century, and the foremost being Ibn bin Taymiyya. That's the first one. Then to compare Bajrang Dal with PFI, PFI is a documented body which gets funds from outside and has been documented to have carried out killings of people in various parts of the country. Now, that is not the case with Bajrang Dal. The only thing you can identify Bajrang Dal is to say fringe politics or what happened in hate crime, 1991 or 1993, mobilizing. People say they organized rowdy crowds for the mobilization when the masjid came down. But they are not the terror groups. So for them to first of all equate Bajrang Dal with PFI, and then this obsession on part of especially Rahul Gandhi and couple of leaders shows a division within the Congress party. It's not as if many people within the Congress are saying that this should be done. If you look at it, it's Rahul Gandhi and people who are very close to Rahul, like Salman Khurshid and other people who have been talking about Muslim Brotherhood, RSS, Bajrang Dal, PFI, Savarkar. It all falls into line.
All the way up to Boko Haram.
All the way up to Boko Haram, because this is what Rahul Gandhi feels.
Yeah, and my question to you is that if that division within the Congress party at that level, you're talking about Rahul Gandhi, Salman Khurshid level, where there's a narrative difference where one section alludes to something and the rest doesn't really take after it. That's suicidal for when it comes to election time in Karnataka, isn't it?
Well, it's like, the top leadership digs the ditch for the entire electoral prospect of the Congress to fall in that ditch. It's as simple as it. A smart politician, he wins the election first, because there is, it's like examination, when you don't, if you are in class 6, you study maths book of class 6 to pass through. You don't study class 10 book to pass through maths. So for you to graduate to the next class, if you want to fight election, you fight to win. If you don't fight to win, you have such altruistic measures, then I have nothing more.
And before you go to the case, you see, this is something which is part of the Congress DNA. People think that the Congress was always left, very left and woke and liberal. No, that's not the case. Even after independence, there was big schism within the Congress party. The first was decoration and reconstruction of Somnath. Dr. Rajendra Babu, Sardar Patel, Madan Mohan Malviya, Purushottam Das Tandon, they were on the other side. Congress as a party itself had a lot of, the majority was very, very conservative. They felt that this should not be the case. The only difference was that Jawaharlal Nehru was so tall that he had the heft to kick them out. He would not cooperate with them. Like Purushottam Das Tandon, he had to put in his papers as the president of the Congress party. That is the only difference. Now they can only issue statements, but they can't push out the people, you can say conservative or right of the center. It's not as if they never existed within the Congress. They constituted the mainstream of the Congress.
Once
I would
upon
just
a time.
close my argument that the maximum anti-cow laws passed in various states have not been done by the BJP government. They have all been passed by the Congress government.
Right. Professor Chambi Puranik, let me first come to you quickly. Tell us, this, parallel being drawn between the Bajrang Dal and PFI, could prove how disastrous could it prove for the Congress party when it comes to an election?
No, I listened to all the three of you, Krishna Kumar and Desh and also Kartikeyan. I think, they have given a right perspective from the All India point of view. But from Karnataka point of view, I should say that the people of Karnataka are not so obsessed with this kind of radical groups, especially PFI and other organizations, and equating them with Hindu. I think it's a kind of misplaced kind of comparison, just for the sake of popular kind of appeasement of minorities, and also extreme groups of Hinduism we will going to control and all that. So they are trying to take a position, centrist position in the manifesto per se, I would say, because they have given a bonanza of freebies, and in the light of that they have come to this. I think it is only a kind of optics or a kind of statement which Congress has made in the overall context of the manifesto that they are presenting. Saying that we take care of peace, law and order, and also see that such extremist organizations are banned or will take strict action. My only question to the Congress people is, for the 4 years ago, for 5 years you were in power, and you have left the accused people, about 5,000 people of PFI and other organizations. Now, to say that we will take care of that is only to counter the kind of BJP actions or home minister statements, frequent statements, etc. So, same Salman Khurshid, whatever he has observed in his book, he could have suggested to his party. They have not done it. It's only an after that. But I think this comparing Bajrang Dal and PFI, and also going up to Boko Haram and all that. I think it is the imagination which
Right.
only Congress people or some people within the party can buy, not the people of Karnataka.
Right.
Especially in coastal Karnataka, it may have some kind of, I don't say impact on the electoral kind of influence on the kind of wedding,
Right.
but it's only just for debate's sake they have kept it. I don't think people of Karnataka can be fooled like that because Karnataka, barring coastal Karnataka, you show me one place in Karnataka where communal kind of clashes have taken place.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Bhaskar Hegde ji. Bhaskar Hegde ji, and I'm going to bring this across to you. Barring coastal Karnataka, as Professor Jambi Puranik is exactly pointing out, communal tensions are not exactly the mainstay when it comes to Karnataka politics. Tell us in terms of, this manifesto, this being part of the manifesto, is it hurting Congress's chances or is it not, or does it even really matter when it comes to Congress's chances in the upcoming elections in Karnataka?
Krishna, I think I agree with Brijesh what he said initially that 101 ways that Congress can lose the elections. It's a very good point. So to come back to this particular point, I would like to approach the subject three ways. First is legally speaking, I think it may stand the scrutiny of law, number one, because Bajrang Dal operates in various parts of country. So if Karnataka, if the Congress comes to power in Karnataka, or theoretically Congress bans Bajrang Dal in Karnataka. What if Bajrang Dal operates in Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Gujarat, or wherever BJP is working? So PFI is banned by the central government. That is why that ban is very effective across the country. See, a state government banning one organization might not be a very good proposal. In that sense, I think legally, as Karthika and Brijesh already discussed, that it may not stand the scrutiny of law because Bajrang Dal you cannot equate with PFI because there are a lot of ED and NIA charge sheets. If you go through the charge sheets, there are so many cases they have referred to. And in fact, the recent one, the charge sheet they mentioned about how the PFI activists plan to convert India into a Islamic caliphate by 2047. So in comparing the PFI with Bajrang Dal and then saying that we will also ban Bajrang Dal, legally I think they will face more hurdles. I think number one. Number two, if you see the two manifestos of BJP and Congress, one is Uniform Civil Code proposed by BJP, and exactly the opposite that they are going to propose ban on Bajrang Dal. Now you see, if you see these particular two things, BJP has some kind of strong footing because here and there in many cases while passing the judgment, Supreme Court and judges of Supreme Court and various high courts have referred to Uniform Civil Code, if not in the final judgment, in the observation, they made observations. So the center should bring or come out with UCC. So on that, in that sense, I think BJP's narrative has a sound, strong logic to UCC. But whereas in Bajrang Dal case, I think it has some kind of weak logic. Number two. Now the third and last point, when it comes to the election, what you asked, I think it is again what Vijay said is absolutely right. You take Chikmagalur, you take Uttar Kannada, you take Udupi, you take Dakshin Kannada, you take Kodagu, you take parts of Hassan and Mysore, some 6-7 districts. I think this will have a major repercussion, and this narrative certainly BJP will do it and spin it, and it will have a major impact.
Right. Professor Jambi Puranik, that's in contrast to what you just told us, what Bhaskar Hegde is telling us, which is that he mentioned specific constituencies where this could have a major ramification.
But that itself is not going to bring more votes for Congress, by doing this. Actually, it may help BJP.
Yeah, that's what Bhaskar is saying. That BJP's logic behind this is extremely strong, whereas the Congress is what is wavering. So do you see then that this, with certain kind of districts, certain constituencies, where this could be an emotive issue, this being detrimental to Congress's chances going forward?
Definitely, Congress is taking it to the extremes. So this kind of propaganda will not work because already these are all BJP strongholds. Apart from coastal Karnataka, which I am very particular, there is a marginal impact in Chikmagalur and Kodagu and other places, in that Malnad area. Yeah. For example, Malnad area, it may have some effect, but it only mobilizes the sentiments of the people. But it's kind of converting it to votes. I think I have my own reservations, and I don't think Congress is going to be benefited. It's only trying to, appease the sentiments of minorities which are there in the party, and also to tell the Hindu people that extremist organizations will not be tolerated. We will try to take action on that. I don't think it's going to make a big impact. Personally, I feel, having been closely in touch with these constituencies, I don't think this is going to be a big issue, because there are bigger issues which they have promised. And the visit of Modi and Amit Shah, all their appeal and all that. In 84 constituencies, there is a close neck-to-neck fight. Let us not forget it. So these kind of whatever kind of optics or statements in terms of emotive issues, I don't think it will directly impact the people, except the organization or the workers. Yes, BJP workers and Congress workers, they may fight. But I don't think it will go across the voters who go to the polls on 10th of May.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. Kartikeya and Brijesh, we have two different perspectives coming in. Bhaskar Hegdeji is saying that, this is going to have a strong impact in, he's mentioned the constituencies from Mysore to Chikmagaluru, so many places where this could have a strong impact. Whereas Professor Jambi Puranik is saying that there are other emotive issues, and there are over 80 constituencies where it's a neck-to-neck fight between the Congress and the BJP. So in that sense, could this all, overlap into larger issues for the Congress going forward?
Well, I agree with Bhaskarji, because the point is that, if there is a close combat between BJP and Congress, why give them an issue? Is my concern.
Yeah, that's the fundamental concern.
You are being fundamentally wrong. When you are in a situation where you seem to have the upper edge, why allow your opponent, who you want to beat at any cost? Why give him an edge? Why give him an issue? That's what I meant when I said that, and the point is that the Congress party, this is not the first time they're doing, Siddaramaia's Lingayat chief minister comment, why make a comment in which you have to explain 20 times just to make sure that you are heard correctly and interpreted correctly? This means that you're not being good at your communication. And this is something which I feel the BJP, the Congress should avoid, because the BJP is going, we heard Prime Minister, talking about the surgical strike and how Congress is the party which always asks for proof of surgical strike, what happens at Batla House, and in the middle of this you make a comment where you're comparing PFI with Bajrang Dal. It's like, you were providing them the missing link, the Karnataka missing link, and help them hammer you hard.
Kartikeya, I know you have things to say, but my curiosity is this, technically, the Congress is trying to prove a point saying that it's not an extremist party. It's neither this side nor that side, it's the moderate party. So that's actually a good message to send out. But it has just come out, it seems to have come out exactly the wrong way.
But I really don't know why Congress has decided to go for a very, very national issue. Prime Minister, Amit Shah, JP Nadda, they have been trying to nationalize issues in Karnataka elections. The Congress was scoring when it was Nandini, Congress was scoring when it was that Mirchi issue, Congress scored when it was some local district issue. BJP had to go back on the issues of hijab, halal meat, and Mumbai had to give statement that these are not our issues. In fact, chided a couple of journalists during the elections. Now, when again the BJP shifts the goalpost, Congress could have gone the regional way, but Congress has chosen to respond by equating Bajrang Dal with PFI. Now, what I don't understand is that when you know that this is not going to give you dividends, why do you do that? And secondly, there was no need for you to do that, because your pension scheme had worked very well in Himachal Pradesh. You had also promised some money to unemployed women. So and
you have practically forced BJP to grant like half a kg Nandini ghee to women and all.
And the most important of all, what has BJP done? BJP has actually learned from Indira Gandhi. We underestimate BJP in this avatar because we don't frame them properly. What was 20 Sutri program of Indira Gandhi? What was 20-point program of Indira Gandhi? Indira Gandhi was the first politician in our country to create a Labharti category. People who directly benefited from certain things which Indira Gandhi did. Now, Narendra Modi has become a second Prime Minister who has done things for, other Prime Ministers have done things for poor. But who does things for poor in his own name, not in the name of his government. Prime Minister does it for you. And then you monetize it during elections. मैं आपके लिए लेके आया हूँ, मैंने आपके लिए किया है, मैंने आपके घर में दिया है, मैं ये पहुंचा रहा हूँ, टॉयलेट बनवाया है, and then you monetize it in the election. Indira Gandhi had done it very successfully. So your counter was to create your own beneficiaries. Look what two interviews which Amit Shah gave yesterday. What did he say? Congress party तो जाति के हमें प्रतिबिंब से देखती है. हमने एक लाभार्थी की फौज खड़ी की है. Beneficiaries. That is the new political class which will vote for us. You can create a second political class for yourself, beneficiaries, and counter them. But then what do? ना वही बात हो जाएगी, नाच ना आवे आंगन टेढ़ा, आप चले वहां डिस्को करने, आता तो है नहीं आपको डिस्को, गिर पड़ेंगे उल्टे. जब आपको भरतनाट्यम अच्छा पता है, कुचिपुड़ी अच्छा पता है, वो कीजिए. नहीं, आपको करना है वहां ब्रेक डांस, तो भाई ब्रेक डांस में तो बीजेपी चैंपियन है, वहां तो आप गिर पड़ेंगे उल्टा, वो मून वॉकिंग भी नहीं होगी आपकी. तो वही हो रहा है, आप वहां पहुंच गए वहां.
The analogies are incredible, Kartikeya, isn't it, Brijesh? But that's essentially what it is. You're playing on a turf in which that's not your
no, the second you shift your narrative and gear to the nationalistic pitch, even an inch kilometer related to that, the BJP is run home, boss. They don't need you to help them win the narrative war. They're already there.
Yeah.
And and we have seen how local politicians, be it Mamata Banerjee, be it Arvind Kejriwal, be it Tejasvi Yadav also, they're stuck to their tried tested Rozgar, the kind of schemes which the government of the state government is providing. What exactly they have in mind as far as the development and upliftment of the poor is concerned, and they won the election handsomely, defeating the entire might of the BJP. They never do this,
I'm going to take one last comment from Bhaskar Hegde ji. Bhaskar Hegde ji, in that sense, you've seen, as far as the narrative is concerned, we've also seen the Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai talk about the fact that hijab and halal are not the main issues. In that sense, so far, the BJP is still winning the narrative game, at least in Karnataka.
Krishna, I think in the last, particularly since Prime Minister has started campaign vigorously in Karnataka, I think Congress slightly is on back foot. There are two reasons. One is Kharge's comment on Prime Minister, and yesterday Kharge's son also made a comment on the Prime Minister. That is one. And as Brijesh pointed about Siddaramaiah, and now there is one more, this Bajrang Dal and PFI, and one after the other, Congress is giving issues on platter to BJP, number one. Number two, and as we expected, Prime Minister comes and he converts these kind of issues in his favor, and he gives a very different spin, and people will buy it. So whether one agrees with his argument, that's a different issue. But I think at this point in time, BJP's narrative is very aggressive. BJP's narrative is slightly made Congress to kind of go on defensive.
Jambi Puranik, quickly tell us, we've seen the BJP make it very clear before anything else, because their manifesto also came out earlier, and they've been talking about it even before the manifesto, and if they come to power, the PFI will be banned in Karnataka. Whereas the Congress party, in response to, to that aggressive narrative of the BJP, wants to project itself as a moderate party, and hence has come out. But the way that it has come out, in the sense of equating Bajrang Dal to PFI, isn't really going to help a Congress party, don't you think?
You're asking me?
Yes, sir.
Is it for me? The question?
Yes, sir.
No, I can't hear.
Can you hear me, sir? Professor Jambi Puranik, the question is for you, sir.
Yeah. So I think, I agree with Mr. Hegde saying that BJP has become very aggressive, in terms of its confidence or the kind of campaign. Because every time Amit Shah and Modi or Nadda comes, they are trying to say that these are the national programs that we have implemented in Karnataka, and we are going to certainly improve it on you, the advantages of a double-engine government and all that. My only worry about BJP is they are not in a position to tell what they are going to do, apart from Prime Minister Amit Shah and Nadda coming and all that. It's okay. That shows that you are not in a position to impress the voters as against the kind of propaganda or attack, criticism Congress is making. So therefore, I think BJP also should not be overconfident or complacent just because Prime Minister comes number of times and the road shows and all that. That itself shows BJP is trying to fill up that gap. The state BJP leadership is not in a position to take the advantage of their own whatever success or good governance they have given. They are shy of fighting. That's why Congress is repeating 40% commission and the kind of corruption that is there everywhere and all that. And including the city of Bangalore, they have not done much to defend themselves. So therefore, I think these issues of Bajrang Dal versus PFI and all that, they will not be main issues. But I would say that people are more worried about the current issues which face them. In spite of it, since they have no choice. BJP, Congress, JDS. JDS is a factor which we have not been discussing. Even if we discuss, I'm sure it's going to make a kind of impact in favor of fragmented verdict. That is the point that Congress and BJP should worry. They are not attacking JDS because they know well. When time comes, they have to go to the doors of Mr. H. Devagowda. So therefore, I would prefer, I would have advised if they had given me kind of a suggestion now that they sought it, I would have definitely said you fight these issues, not showing Prime Minister he has done everything, Modi will do this, Amit Shah will do this. That is always there. For Lok Sabha, these things will click. For Karnataka state election of May 10th, still there is time to have damage control other than taking up these minor issues of whatever communal or terrorist or anti-national activities or security issues, etc. So therefore, I think BJP also should be more, I don't say aggressive, they should be confident. And that confidence should come from the performance. And Mr.
Professor Jambi Puranik.
Answer these things.
Right, and with that, we've completely run out of time here on this discussion. Professor Jambi Puranik, thank you so much for joining us, and Mr. Bhaskar Hegde, editor of News9 Kannada Digital, thank you so much for being with us. And with that, we wrap up this particular discussion. We'll be back with lots more on News9 Live. Stay with us.